And that healthy competition is a wonderful thing in-house as long as it doesn't take on any negative connotations.
Who do you think is the most competitive driver right now?
The most competitive?
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, this year, it's Kyle Busch. I mean,
Hmm.
half the time the guy goes to victory lane mad because he didn't win by enough, right? And don't even talk to me about how he goes to victory lane when he's second or third. He nicks it off the wall and the car's immediately killed. It's dead. We're done. It's over, right? I mean, that's just the nature of Kyle Busch, and that kind of fire and that kind of drive. It makes him a pain in the butt sometimes, but it also makes him the champion that he is.
Can we not roll out the M&Ms have something to do with it? Like maybe when he changes sponsorship next season and he gets somebody else in there, the personality and the demeanor changes. Maybe it's all he's locked in on the M&Ms. That's just his M&Ms persona.
Yeah, there is no way that I can visualize A, Joe Gibbs Racing, and B, Toyota allowing Kyle Busch to get out of their grasp. I can't imagine that happening. Now, they may have to come up with an interim sponsor, a one-year deal with somebody while they continue to work on something long-term. But if you're going to replace a driver, the first question you should have already asked yourself is, who am I going to get that's better?
Yeah.
And if you look around out there, who are you going to get that's better than Kyle Busch? Who's going to win more races and contend for championships the way Kyle has over the years? There's just nobody out there.
So you think he stays long term? He locks in, and they're going to get
I'd
it
be
done.
shocked if he doesn't. Absolutely shocked if he doesn't stay.
Interesting. Do you think he's misunderstood at all? Because I think a lot of folks, when you develop this reputation, and I mean Harvick was this way a little bit. It's just. Once that narrative gets out and that's who you are, it's really hard to shake that for a lot of fans. Do you think he's misunderstood in some ways?
I think it's also harder to change the narrative when you don't care to change the narrative. Kyle a long time ago made it very clear from his point of view. He said, I am who I am. If you like me and you cheer for me on Sunday afternoon, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you hate me and you boo your guts out on Sunday afternoon, that's okay too. I'm just glad you're here. And how many times has he said the haters are the motivators? And he's never going to be anything but what he is. He's never going to tone it down. He's never going to parse his words and try and be politically correct. That's just not Kyle.
Do you think that's rare, and most guys are wanting to get the fans to like them, wanting to appease, wanting to keep the peace? Is it more the other way?
I think at the end of the day, we all would rather be liked than hated, right? I mean, you'd like to assume that those two guys over in the corner pointing at you are saying nice things instead of rotten things. But at the end of the day, no matter what those two guys are saying over in the corner, it doesn't really impact what you do on the racetrack unless you let it, right? If you let other people's opinions cloud how you compete out there, it can be a negative. I don't see Kyle Busch ever doing that, ever.
If you were the head of the NASCAR marketing department, who would you push? Who are the guys that you're pushing the next couple of years where you're like, these guys are the ones we should get behind to grow this sport and to really continue getting to that next level? Because they have a lot of momentum this year. And I think who they decide to kind of really zone in on over the next couple of years to really push to the casual fan, who would you circle?
That's a really interesting question. And the answer to that is I would do now what NASCAR tried to do about 3.5 or 4 years ago. If you'll recall, we started the season and NASCAR's promotional arm was gung-ho about the young guns and the young kids and the new lion, the new talent. And it really hacked off Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and guys like that. They said, wait a minute, you're promoting guys that have never won a single race. Between us, we've got 100 of them, and you're trying to sell tickets with guys that have never won at this level. And they were exactly right about that. They were absolutely positively right. Those young guys weren't ready yet. The William Byrons and the Christopher Bells, they weren't ready yet. They're ready now. Chase Elliott, they're winning championships, they're winning races, and they absolutely are the new breed for NASCAR. Now, the old guys, the old graybeards like me, they've still got their fan base, right? But they're, every day we get a day older, and pretty soon there won't be any of us left, and those young kids are going to steer the ship.